Okay, I found you. You're it. Okay, but I don't know about hide and seek. There's not enough places in the attic to hide. Really? I always find plenty of places to hide. Come on. Nah, I don't know if I want to play anymore. Hey, Johanna, what's your favorite animal? Well, I don't know. I've never really known any animals except puppet animals. Yeah, me either. I don't know if puppets and real animals would work well together anyway. We might get torn up or something. True. I've always thought it would be fun to have a little dog puppet in our troupe, but I remember that play we were in about Jesus' birth. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, the donkey puppet was really sweet. A donkey got to carry Jesus' mother to Bethlehem before he was born. Yes, and a donkey is the only animal in the Bible that we know of who got to talk to humans. What? A donkey? One animal gets to talk, and it's a donkey? Well, what about an eagle or a lion or a horse or even a bull? Something a little more majestic, maybe? Oh, this donkey deserved to talk. It's in Numbers chapter 22 through 24. Well, would you tell me about it? Why don't you just read it for yourself? Well, Johanna, because I like to hear you tell stories. Come on, Johanna, you're such a sweet, nice big sister. You are a rotten little puppet. Don't you think I know what you're trying to do? Is it working? All right. Let's see now. After Israel had wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, they were camped in a nearby country called Moab. The king of Moab was afraid of Israel, that they would eat up all the food and their animals would eat up all the grass in his country, and he knew they were more powerful than he was, so he sent a couple of princes to bring a man who was sort of a magician to Moab in order to curse Israel. The man's name was Balaam. Oh, well, that wasn't very nice. So the princes traveled to where Balaam was and told him what the king wanted him to do. Balaam said for them to stay the night and he'd talk to God about it. Oh, well, that was a good thing for him to do. True, God told Balaam not to go, as Israel was a blessed people and not to be cursed. So Balaam didn't go, right? Well, not right then anyway, he didn't. What do you mean, right then? Well, the king of Moab sent other, more important princes to ask Balaam again, and this time he offered a very huge reward. Balaam was very interested in that, so he asked God again if he could go. God said, sure, go ahead. Wait. God let a greedy guy like that go to curse his own people? No. We know from other places in Scripture that Balaam was not a true servant of God, but God let him go so he could use Balaam for his own purposes. Oh, I see, like he used Pharaoh to show Egypt his immense power and that he is the only God. Just like that, yes. The next morning, Balaam got on his donkey and they all started for Moab. This is the donkey who talked? Yes, he didn't have another one. As they went along, the donkey saw an angel standing in the road ahead of them with his sword drawn. So she ran off into the field. But Balaam was angry, so he beat her back onto the road. The donkey saw the angel again between two walls surrounding a vineyard, and so she crowded against a wall, kind of to get away, and she crushed Balaam's foot a little bit, and he beat her again. And the angel moved to a narrow place in the road so no one could get around him, and the donkey laid down underneath Balaam, who beat her a third time. That's when God opened her mouth. Wow! What did she say? Well, she asked Balaam what she had done to cause him to beat her those 3 times, and Balaam said she'd made a fool of him and that if he'd had a sword he would have killed her. Oh, well, how mean can this guy get? The donkey asked, haven't I always been your donkey, and have I ever done this before? Balaam answered, "No." Then he looked up and he saw the angel too, and he fell on his face in fear. "Well, what did the angel do?" He asked, "Balaam, why did you beat that donkey? I have come to oppose you because your path is reckless. The donkey saw me 3 times, and if she hadn't turned aside, I would have killed you by now and spared her." Oh, so she actually saved his life too. Balaam said he'd go back, but the angel said, "No, no, go on, but be very, very sure that you say only what God says for you to say." Well, Balaam arrived in Moab, and right off he told the king that he could only say what God said to say and nothing else. The king agreed, and he took Balaam to a kind of a high place where they could look down on Israel. Balaam sacrificed 7 bulls and 7 rams, and then asked God what to say. Oh, what happened? Balaam blessed Israel. So then the king took him to 2 more places so they could look down on Israel from different perspectives. They did the same thing, the sacrifices and stuff. And Balaam blessed Israel more each time. The king was very angry. God sent words to Balaam to prophesy against Israel's enemies, including Moab. And then Balaam went home without his big reward. Well, I guess being greedy didn't work out too well for Balaam then, did it? Well, greed may work for a while, but eventually it destroys you. Having money and things is fine, within reason, but as long as you don't put more importance on those things than you do on God, yes, let God be your guide, not greed. That's right. He leadeth me, O blessed thought, O words of heavenly comfort fraught. Where'er I do, where'er I be, still 'tis God's hand that leadeth me. He leadeth me, by his own hand he leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by his hand he leadeth me.